Hey, what's going on YouTube? So today I'm going to showcase my endgame hybrid Magicka Dragonknight build updated for the Necrom DLC patch. This build is capable of pulling over 120k on the parse dummy and is viable and tailored for group content. As with all endgame builds, it will be a group focused build that revolves around using trial or best in slot gear, so therefore it's not a beginner or solo friendly build. Furthermore, please use these builds as a baseline as different situations and scenarios will require different gear sets and skills. With that being said, here we go. So as per usual, starting off in the character sheet, I have 64 points in a Magicka. And we're running the Thief Mundus for the race. We're a high elf. High elves have some of the best passives for Magicka DPS. For the food, you have a few different options, but because sustain is really good and we can use tri-stat or hero zone potions, we can just opt to use either bi-stat for health and mag, or just straight parse food, depending on if you need the health or not. As far as potions are concerned, because we have access to Major Sorcery and Prophecy through Flames of Oblivion, Degeneration, and Inner Light, we can opt to use Hero Zone potions, or the cheaper option would be Tri-Stat potions. So for CP, for the blue tree, we're going to be running Exploiter. Swap this out for crit damage CP, especially in content if you need more crit damage. Deadly Aim, Thaumaturge, and Wrathful Strikes. For the red CP, we're running Balanced Vitality, Fortified, Rejuvenation, and Siphoning Spells is our flex spot. You can swap this out for something like Celerity or basically whatever you need. So for the gear, we're running 5 pieces of Reliquant on the front bar, 5 pieces of Pillar on the back bar, Zon Monster Set, and Harpooners. So starting off in the main hand, we have a Nirn Honed Reliquant Dagger, Flame Damage Enchant. In the offhand, Pillar Nirn Dagger, charged with a Poison Damage Enchant. On the back bar, we opted to use an Inferno Stab. This is going to be Pillar Nirn, infused with a Weapon and Spell Damage Enchant. For the head and shoulders, we have 2 pieces of Zons, 1 light, 1 medium, both in Divines with Max Mag. 4 pieces of the body, all Reliquant, Divines with Max Mag enchants, and Harpooners, Divines, Max Mag. For the jewelry, 3 pieces of Pillar Nirn, Bloodthirsty with Weapon and Spell Damage enchants. So for the skills, we're running Engulfing Flames. This is a strong flame dot. On top of that, affected enemies take more flame damage and scales up to a max of 6%. You can swap this out for Talons if you want to run Talons. Molten Whip, this is our spammable, also gives us access to the Seething Fury passive, which basically increases your weapon and spell damage for 15 seconds and empowers your next cast of Whip up to 3 stacks. Venomous Claw, strong dot, stand based, and also don't recast this early because the damage does ramp up. Flames of Oblivion, another dot. This also gives us access to Major Prophecy on the front bar. Deadly Cloak because we're running daggers on the front bar, and strong dot. Flawless Dawnbreaker, this is more for just the passives for it being slotted. On the back bar, we're running Trap because we need access to Minor Force and also procs a bunch of hemorrhaging and does good damage. Unstable Wall, this is what we're going to be using to proc our Pillar off cooldown. This is 10 seconds and Pillar cooldown matches exactly with it. Eruption, another strong dot. And Degen because we need access to Major Sorcery. Inner Light because we need Major Prophecy on the back bar. And Standard of Mind is our ultimate. Try to drop this when all of your dots are down so that you can maximize your burst potential. For the rotation, we're going to be running a dynamic rotation, meaning we're going to be recasting our dots as they expire. So the priority is going to be Wall, Degen, Trap, Flames of Oblivion, Eruption, Deadly Cloak, Venomous Claw, and Engulfing Flames. And then when you don't have any dots to recast, just use your spammable Molten Whip. And as I said earlier, Dawnbreaker and Inner Light are both slotted for the passive bonuses. Whenever your dots are all up and your ult is ready, you could just drop that and then capitalize on the extra damage you do by going into a whip spam. And as I said earlier, since Wall is 10 seconds, we can line it up with Pillar, thus getting 100% uptime without having to track it. And Engulfing can be slotted for Talons if you want to run that as well. So for closing thoughts, if you want to push a little bit more DPS, you can run two-hander. If you're doing that, then add Stampede and Carve, and then take out Deadly Cloak, throw on Trap on the front bar. The issue with this is you do have to proc Pillar every 10 seconds, or basically when it's off cooldown, and failure to do so results in lower DPS. I chose Unstable Wall because it lined up perfectly with the Pillar proc. So just very quickly, some gear alternatives. If you want to go light armor, you can go something like Bosse, Whirl, or even something like Back Alley Gourmand would work just fine. In terms of medium proc sets, instead of Pillar, you can go Aegis Collar or even Venomous Smite. Venomous Smite is really good if you're running Stampede on the back bar because the timers line up perfectly. And if you need a budget build, then Law of Julianos and Order's Wrath is a good place to start. And I think that wraps it up. As always, thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, or better yet, come join our Discord. Link is in the description. I will have a written guide linked in the description for those who would prefer that instead. And as always, thank you to my YouTube members. If you want to help me support my content creation, please consider becoming a member. And as always, thanks again, and see you in the next one.